So here's a quick post about a guy who handles things like a boss by immediately dumping his girlfriend for just suggesting an open relationship. And to no surprise, she's losing her mind. In fact, this dude isn't a boss, he's a king. He gets to wear the Burger King crown for a day. And of course, she's losing her mind, meltdowns, let me explain that crap. And remember, guys, because we're here to learn things, never, if your girl asks for an open relationship, guess what? That is asking for permission to cheat. Okay? She does not care about you. I can't stress that enough. Because no girl that loves their guy would ever want to do that. Unless the two people start the relationship as swingers or whatever. No one will ever do that to their guy. And no one will want to risk a relationship that he's with some other woman. Think about it. And why do they do this? They want permission to cheat. They essentially think they're so amazing and that you're so weak that you'll go along with this. So you should never ever do this. Dump them immediately. And that also goes for a wife. Because the odds are, I might add, remember, we're here to learn stuff, that either she's already cheating, she's already rolling in the hay with some guy, or other multiple guys, or at the very least, she has someone in mind. She's setting the stage. She's already cheating in terms of, except just not rolling in the hay. Everything's planned out. So never do that. Okay. Titled, Am I the a-hole for breaking it with my girl for suggesting an open relationship and not letting her explain? And a shout out to Josh for sending this story. And oh yes, gents, come over and join me on X, formerly Twitter. The handle is SSM Channels. He says here, my girlfriend about 5 years recently suggested an open relationship. 5 years, huh? How typical. I know what it is, but just in case I misheard, I asked her to elaborate. And yeah, pretty much what you all would think. She wants us to be able to have SCX with other people. 5 years. He probably was thinking about who's going to marry her. Probably darn close to it too. He dodged a big one. Well, I took a deep breath and said that we are done. I've seen stories about open relationships and know that there's no way in hell I'd ever want one of those. See, this is why Reddit or online platforms where guys can hear these stories, or YouTube where people hear me do these stories, helps guys. Well, she tried to take it back, but I told her that the fact that she had the nerve to even ask is a deal breaker for me. Good for you, man. Of course she tried to backtrack. FYI, we had never done anything with another person, and I never even suggested any of it at all. So there's no way that I ever gave her any hints. Well, guess what, guys? I found out in the comment section that it was her friend. She claimed it was her friends that were talking about this. Big surprise. Blame the friends. This isn't something I'd want. I didn't even listen to her and just ignored her, and she kept trying to explain and to apologize. Yeah, she knew she actually expected this guy to go along with it. She was that confident that she was so amazing, and this guy was just such a pushover. Wrong. I just packed up some stuff and went to stay with my parents. She's been trying to call me, but honestly, I feel like asking for an open relationship is basically asking permission to cheat. Well, sir, it is. And yeah, and here's how this is going to go. She's going to keep bombarding him with texts and phone calls and all that. Sounds like they live together now, so that's going to be a pain in the butt to get rid of her, but he can do it. But also, for this guy and anybody else in this situation, he's now going to get bombarded by texts and phone calls and smoke signals from her mutual friends, her family, trying to say that he overreacted, painting him as the bad guy. I truly hope he doesn't fall for it. I don't think he will. And guys, if you're in a situation like this, don't fall for it. So anyhow, boss move, awesome. Again, he's the king. He gets the Burger King crown today. Remember those when we were kids? And absolutely. Now, I'm going to read a few comments here. What's great is the whole comment section has got this guy's back. One guy says here, no woman in the history of womandom asked for an open relationship, no warning, 5 years in, unless A, she already has someone in mind that she wants to sleep with, ding, 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 or B, she's already sleeping with them, and this is her way of reconnecting things, so she doesn't have to consider herself a cheater. You did right, kid. Could have said it better myself. I love when I read these comments that shows that guys out there are learning. Because you know what? 5 years ago, every other day there was a freaking open relationship, open marriage post on Reddit. Because it was all like much newer back then. But now guys are waking up, so you're having a lot less of those. Because I think probably some women are realizing, uh-oh, I better not do this. But they're still cheating. They're just not asking for the open relationships. Another one. This guy says, that's how my first marriage ended. My now ex-wife started suggesting an open relationship, but she said she had nobody in mind. Bullcrap. She just wanted the option hypothetically. However, she'd been hanging out with one single guy in our local friend group and hid it from me, so I immediately knew what was happening. She denied it completely. Well, of course she denied it. Like she's actually going to admit that she was, hanging out with him and planning to cheat on you, but she probably was. We mutually agreed to end things, and she immediately began dating him officially. Shocker. 6 months later, she wanted to vent about him to me, and I said, I don't want to hear about it. She made her bed, and I was out of there. I'm much happier afterwards. It was a blessing in disguise. I met my new wife a couple years later, and we've been together over 10 years. Awesome. Well, good for that guy. Just still watch out for his current wife. And one more. This guy says, not the a-hole. Can't take something like that back. Unfortunately, because it shows her cards, she's fine with you and her being intimate and sharing yourselves with others. I find it hard to let anybody else come back from that, even if they suggested it, as it's probably still in their mind and has shown me that we are in different things in mind. Yeah, exactly. I still say this guy dodged a big one, because he could have been proposing to her, planning to propose. I think it's good that you were able to read from others' mistakes and avoid making one yourself. You probably saved yourself and her from a lot of regret and pain. No, let's worry about him saving himself from regret and pain, not her. The hell with her. I'm sorry this happened to you and that you find your way out of this. I wish you the best in moving forward. Oh, one more. This is the last one. This is very good. And I like reading the comments, one, because they're amusing, but also to show others of the same mind frame and other people go through this crap. This guy says, you were probably the 100th person I've read about opening relationship, and you did what you did in order to survive, and your judgment was correct. And I repeat myself until I'm blue in the face. Under no circumstances, open your relationship or do a threesome. Every person I've known that has done this has either broken up, wound up in divorce, court, or no exceptions. Yeah, this is a good point. This isn't just about open relationships where, she's off doing Lord knows what with Chad and Tyrone and maybe Becky and Jessica, because they usually hook up with the girls too, and he's off doing what he wants to do. Even three-ways can just destroy a relationship, or swinging and stuff like that when they're both there. Really, unless both parties come into the relationship from that background, ain't going to work. The reason people want to open their relationship is to cheat without guilt. I had a very good friend of mine who did it, and he said it was the biggest mistake he ever made. He said it was fun and exciting in the beginning, but his ex-wife developed feelings for the person, which led them to getting divorced. There you go. I asked him what he recommended, and he said, under no certain terms, no. And the only way I say your ex-girlfriend wanted to be able to cheat without guilt, and I'm going to put money down that she already had the individual that she wanted to invite into the relationship, and opening a relationship will only lead to jealousy and resentment. Of course she had somebody picked out. You did the right thing in breaking up with her because you knew this is something that you could not accept. Under no uncertain terms, get back together with her again and stay broken up with her. I'm sorry this happened to you. I don't think this dude's going to get back with her. I can just tell. But, she's going to try. Guaranteed, guys. And especially, you can guarantee he's going to get all the guilt trips from her friends and all that. But just ignore it. Who cares? He acted like a king. And I bet you, even though she's probably angry and crying and drama and all that, I bet you her attraction to this guy, for him breaking up with her like that, probably went through the roof. Because he's acting like a man. He's standing up for himself and saying the most attractive word in the world to a woman. No.